and we're gonna get kind of our little acceleration here. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over a 2021 Jeep Gladiator Mojave. First and foremost, so a huge shout out and thank you to the Large Miller Jeep Chrysler here in Sandy for giving me some time with this Mojave. Check out their inventory in the description down below, and this Mojave is available for sale right now if you're interested, so reach out to them. Let's get into the video. So under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 3.6 liter V6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 285 horsepower and then 260 pound-feet of torque, with fuel economy being 17 around town and then 22 on the highway. Let's go over the front end of the Mojave, and this one is finished in Gecko Green, which is a limited edition color, if you guys are wondering. And by the way, the camera doesn't capture the color very well. It kind of looks a little bit more white in hue on the camera than it does in person. So it's a little bit more green in person. There's like the kind of white that you guys are seeing on camera doesn't exist in real life, just so you guys know. Anyways, you guys can see here with the venting, that's part of the Mojave package. Got the Mojave sticker there. And then we have the LED lights that come with this for the accent light, and then also the turn signal. And then you guys can see for the headlights as well, the LED accent light that goes around that. Jeep signature front grille with the camera there in the center of the grille. And then we have the orange tow hooks, which are also part of the Mojave package. LED fog lights here for the front bumper. And yeah, overall, again, it looks fantastic. I wish the camera would pick up the color, but it just doesn't. Coming around the side here, we've got 285mm tires, aka 33s, wrapped around 17-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear. I love how the wheels are all blacked out. It has that cool kind of military type theme because of that, but also contrast nicely to the green on this particular Gladiator. Anyways, you guys can see the front suspension and shocks. The Mojave package gives this special shocks that actually help it improve the high-speed stability and also the absorption of bumps and everything, again, at high speed. It's kind of what the Mojave package is all about, and I'll show you guys the shocks there in the rear as well. And you guys can see body painted fender flare, and then you've got the black accenting off to the side, desert rated instead of trail rated, right, because this is the high-speed package. Jeep Gladiator down below, and then you guys can see here with the mirrors, and then the door handles are blacked out. This one does have the body painted top, and then here's your full side view with the Mojave. And I mean, just look how bright this is compared to the other. I'm not saying like, okay, right, that is bright blue and that's bright red, but this thing just pops with the green. it's in your face. And then you guys can see here on the rear with the Fox shocks again, and that whole setup and everything. But yeah, that's all for that. So here's our key fob for the Gladiator. You've got the Jeep logo here. We've got the unlock, the lock, and the remote start. And let's talk about payload capacity. So this has 1,040 pounds of payload capacity. We've got LED lights here in the back. And then you guys can see the window there in the rear. And then we obviously have a bed liner already from the factory, so it's all protected. This truck is ready to go. And then lifting up the tailgate, it's very light and easy to get into place. Now let's finish things up here with the rear. So we've got the special Gladiator taillights, which of course they go off as soon as I start the clip. Let's try it again. There we go. And you guys can see what the turn signals would look like as well with pressing that. Got the orange again, and then with the tow hooks down below, receiver hitch right there. And yeah, that is the rear end. Like I said, I think this thing looks phenomenal from an exterior aesthetics perspective. Now here's the door panel in the rear. You guys can see the orange stitching here with the padding, then the netting down below, and then we've got the door handle for the back. I love the look of that. And then here are the seats. Again, you guys can see here with the leather, you've got the stitching that goes throughout again to kind of match the orange on the exterior. Got the vents right here with the window controls, and then the full power outlet down below, and then the rest of the goodies that come with this particular Gladiator from the factory kind of sitting back there. If you guys are wondering, space back here is great. Like, great leg room, great headroom. Let's head to the front. Now here's the door panel at the front. You guys can see again the leather here with the stitching that goes across, and then you've got the door handle. Mirror adjustments here with the door lock and unlock. The mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. And then here are the seats. So you can see leather, Mojave on it, and then look at the stitching that goes all the way down. All of your adjustments here for the seats. It is manual for everything. Got the pedals down below with the light controls, fog light, cargo light. Steering wheel is manually adjustable, and there's one more look before we pop in. Now here is the steering wheel with the Mojave. So you can see really nice leather here at the top and at the bottom. Perfect leather here on the side. We're gonna grab it and then you can see the contrasted stitching there on the center portion. We've got our cruise control, radio controls there on the back, controls for the center stack, voice command controls as well. Turn signal stock, windshield wiper stock, and that's all for the steering wheel. Now here's the center gauge cluster you guys can see here with the analog gauges on either side. Got that signature Jeep look. I'm a huge fan of it. And then you can see here with the center screen, it gives you different bits of information. You can scroll through here. The most important thing, right, obviously is the off-road stuff because it's an off-road package of the Gladiator. And yeah, that's all for the center. Now here's the infotainment system. First off, we pop it into reverse. You guys can see we've got a backup camera with trajectory lines. They turn with the steering wheel, and it's got the zoom function. And then we do have the forward camera, which also has trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. I love how you can see the green and the orange. That is such a cool view. Jeep, you nailed it. Anyways, with the rest of this, we do have the off-road pages. We do have heated seats and a heated steering wheel here for the front, which we're gonna turn off because we don't need any of that happening. Dual zone climate, which we're also gonna turn that down because we don't need that happening either. And you guys can see response time with the screen's fantastic. You've got navigation that comes with it as well. And then the off-road pages basically is like the performance pages from Dodge, but then it's like the off-road version for Jeep, if that makes sense. And there you go. So we've got the orange stitching here at the top, and then notice here on the vents and then the gray trim looks great. Bunch of analog controls here. So for the climate, also for the radio, and then for the heated seats, heated steering wheel. Off-road cruise control, I love how it's a little Wrangler. I know this is a Gladiator, but still, it's cool. Window controls here. You've got this for the little USBs and then a 12-volt auxiliary switches. There's 4 of them, off-road plus. Now the Mojave gets rid of the front locker, so you only have a rear locker. So if you want front and rear, you got to go for a Rubicon. But again, this is supposed to be like a high-speed off-road package. That's why it doesn't have the front locker. It's not about crawling. And then notice we have our 2-wheel high, 4-wheel high, neutral, and then 4-wheel low. And then we've got our shifter for the 8-speed automatic. Really nice leather brake. And then you guys can see here with the cup holders and then center console, which normal Jeep center console. Then we got the glove box. Of course, we got the Jeep grab handle, and we do have the insulation here at the top with this one. So this is as decked out as it gets. So there is a ton of glare. I am so sorry. Let me see if I open the door, if that helps out. Oh yes, look at this. Now you guys can see. So you guys can see the base price before any options are added. Like I said, this has the Gecko Green, which is a limited edition color. And you guys can see all of the stuff that this has added to it. This is like fully loaded pretty much. So here are all of the other packages that have been added to it. Total MSRP, $63,120. Super nice spec. And let's take it out and see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. You guys can see visibility over the hood, both of the mirrors, and then throughout the rest of the rear. And if you guys are wondering with the rear window there, it's manually operable in terms of the opening operation with it. But anyways, let's set off. So we are setting off here in this Mojave, and let me tell you, this has got to be the coolest Gladiator I have ever seen from the factory. I love the aesthetic of this. It just looks so cool. Something I want to quickly see is the tire pressure on this. Okay, so I'd have these a little bit lower than what they have it set at right now, personally driving it around. But the reason I was asking is because I kind of went over a little bump and I was like, I felt a little bit rougher than I kind of remember. But it's the tires, it's not the suspension, so. But having higher PSI does give you better fuel economy, so it's kind of, you know, one of those things where it's like, which one you can choose. First off, the steering with this actually doesn't feel as indirect as what you get with most other Gladiators and Wranglers. It seems like they've kind of tuned this so it has a little bit more directness, which makes sense since this is like a desert running package. The next thing that I want to mention is with the suspension, so this still has a solid front axle, but that being said, right, the shocks help absorb things quite a bit better, and so this does kind of go over bumps and everything a little bit more planted and all that compared to what you're going to get with just a regular Gladiator or even the Gladiator Rubicon. That has Fox shocks, but a little bit different setup than what this has. Braking's great on it. While we're stopped here for a second, I want to talk about like seat comfort. So the seat's really nice. The heated seat function's coming in clutch right now because it kind of got a little bit chillier. So that's definitely a huge positive. And then the other thing to mention is the steering wheel feels really good. I love this feeling. Like, this leather feels really nice to the touch, and the grip on it is really good as well. Visibility is great, and it's also so cool to see the green. I love seeing all the green in this interior. It is such a cool look. But we're gonna get up and we're gonna get kind of our little acceleration here. So the V6 with the 8-speed automatic, it gets up and moves. It's not crazy quick or anything like that, but it's more than enough power, especially to move the 33s this has and everything. The gearing and everything, it's perfect. Like, the setup is really good. That being said, this is supposed to be like a desert run, like kind of like a pre-runner package, right, for the Gladiator. And so it'd be really cool to see if they, for them to throw the 4xe powertrain in this, because that would really kind of amp things up. But like I said, this V6 it's enough. It's more than enough power, and especially with a lot of the desert stuff, usually it's a lot less on the throttle all the time and more of just kind of coasting through a bunch of stuff. Yeah, solid. And then obviously the suspension and the shocks and all that, it's good. I like it. It's really comfortable. The thing that I'd say is, especially if you're going to be, and this is just for every off-road vehicle, I'd lower the PSI quite a bit with this, and this thing will kind of just float. It really would, with how they have this set up. Yeah, just feeling it, it would float very nicely over things. And so overall, I think that's a great looking Gladiator. I love the color. I love the interior on this. The spec on the, yeah, just everything about this one's super nice. And so if you're, you know, wanting a Gladiator, but you kind of are more into the high-speed off-road stuff, but you don't want to obviously pay for Raptor or TRX prices, which are crazy. I mean, this is fully loaded and it's 63 grand. You know, a base model Raptor is 65, and then a base model TRX is over $70,000. So there's a lot of value in this, right? Because you're kind of getting that type of package, but you're not paying nearly as much as what those cost. Now let's get some things up for our video on this 2021 Jeep Gladiator Mojave. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Jeep Chrysler here in Sandy, Utah for giving me some time with this Gladiator. Check out their inventory in the description down below. I will see all of you in the next video.